No, actually, I was doing some research because right now everything's calculated manually. We do everything by hand.
Okay.
Um, and, you know, we're wanting to look at automating the system some.
Well, I'm glad you found Swipeclock because we can definitely help. We've been around for 20 years. We were one of the first companies to introduce online timekeeping. So we've got a very easy to use system. It's very reliable.
Mhm.
Multiple ways for employees to collect their time. And you can use a combination. So whether it's a mobile phone, a wall mounted clock, or tablets or computers. And
Mhm.
then everything is cloud based. So it's
Okay.
very accessible, not only for the employees, but also for you and your team. So do you handle payroll alone or do you have a team that helps you?
I am the team.
Man of multiple hats. All right.
When you're a family business, you kind of have to be.
Hey, I love family businesses. I've worked for plenty. So it's my jam. Is it your business?
It's my parents.
Your parents. So maybe one day you'll take over.
We'll see.
Right on. Okay.
Decisions about retirement have to be made first.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, hey, when the time's right, right? And if they like to golf
Right.
or, go lay on a beach somewhere, more power to them, right?
I hear you.
Sound like they might be in good hands with you, Adam. So if you're doing it just yourself, you've got what, 20, 25 employees?
We've actually got two businesses. One business is a little smaller with the employees. We've got four, six, seven employees for one business, and then the other business is over 20 employees with, I would say, probably over half of those being what we call part-time employees because they only work visitation or other time periods where they're only paid a small hourly rate for being
Okay.
here. But we do have some salaried employees. We have some employees that get paid what we call bumps
Yeah, I
when
see
they
that.
clock in after hours to do stuff. And we're looking for an easy way to be able to say, okay, if they clock in after 5 a.m. and before 8 a.m., then they're eligible for a bump. So, that kind of thing. We just want to be able to automate that instead of having to manually figure it out and
Yeah. Oh,
spend 2 hours calculating payroll.
oh yeah. Well, when this is all said and done and I show you how easy this is, yeah, if it takes you 2 hours, are you paying them weekly, bi-weekly? What's your pay schedule?
Bi-weekly,
Bi-weekly?
bi-weekly. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So, between the calculations of time clocks, because right now we've got the time clock where you pop the card in, it goes down, you
oh, it
know,
punches it. You got the punch
yeah,
clock.
well, it doesn't punch it per se, but it puts the time across it
Yeah.
using the ink and printer type thing.
Oh wow.
So and those will calculate your hours by day,
Yeah.
but miss punches, time off, stuff like that, all has to be calculated in manually. Um, which
Which is
we
no
want
fun.
something that can integrate with um, our time off, our vacation, our sick time, our PTO, all that kind of stuff. So, it integrates an approval process for that kind of stuff, and it automatically deducts it and adjusts payroll based on that information.
Okay. Well, everything you've said is very easily done in our system. And the
Okay.
best part is we have a white glove implementation process. So
Okay.
once you decide to get started, um, I just simply learn some basic information about the employees and if you want to separate these two companies. But there is a
hmm
way to have a single account and then just using some of the reporting tools to be able to separate it out for
hmm
payroll. Um, yeah, tracking PTO is very simple. The system will automatically calculate your daily hours, your weekly hours, your pay period hours, so no manual calculation needed. Um,
Okay.
so we'll shrink that 2 hour time, 4 hours a pay period, which is the standard, right? 4 to 5 hours a pay period.
Give or take. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll shrink that down to maybe 10 minutes,
Oh
five
wow,
minutes, right?
that would be
So
nice.
yeah. So whatever your hobbies are, you're gonna have to spend some more time or find something new, right?
Well, I sell real estate on the side, so that's my hobby.
Oh, real estate. Look, you are a man of multiple hats. Good for you. Good for you. Your retirement plan's looking pretty, I bet, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, depending on how well I do selling real estate.
That's true. It can be a tough market, but
Yeah,
hopefully
sometimes it can
well, hopefully you find like a little private house in Malibu or, Palm
be.
Beach. Scoop that thing up.
It's definitely going to have to be East Coast. I'm not a West Coast person.
East Coast. All right. Like Florida, or are you talking like Maine?
Oh, well, it would have to be southeast coast.
All
So
right.
probably Florida-ish.
Yeah, Miami Beach. Love it down there. Yeah. All right.
Well,
Well,
I think the big kicker for us is, we are a small company. We are successful in our marketplace, but we are a small company, and everything for us always comes down to expense.
absolutely.
What do we look at to make the change over from the automated system from a manual system to an automated system?
Sure.
That's really where we weigh in. Knowing that it can do everything we need it to do, that's great. How much is it going to cost us when we get right down to the brass tacks of things?
Right. Well, I'll stop you right there. That's the wrong question, right? It's the right question, but it's the wrong question. The question is how much is it going to save you, right?
Oh, well, there you go.
Not only in time, but
Right.
time theft, time padding, very big these
Uh-huh.
days, right? The national
Yes.
average is, I think, 5 to 6 hours a week, right? And
Hmm.
employees are notorious, right? The company has unlimited funds. They can pay me a little bit extra, right?
Always. Yeah.
Always,
I'll just come in
always.
out. I'll just come in 20, 30 minutes early every day and get that extra couple hours a week.
Yeah. I mean, that the 20 to 30, right? That starts to catch people's radar, but you get that 10,
Right.
15 minutes, you
Hmm.
span that across 25 employees, that's a few
Yeah.
hours a week. That's
Yeah.
several hours a pay period. So this system will pay for itself typically in the first month or two. And it's
Wow.
not expensive. It's uh, just a monthly subscription, so there's no annual contracts.
Okay.
And then there's just a small one-time implementation and training cost, and it's minimal, right? It's not
Okay.
thousands of dollars. It's a couple $100, but it's well worth it
Mhm.
because we set everything up for you. We just need to work with you and your team. You tell us the rules, the PTO policies, your holiday rules, your overtime. We
Right.
can put shifts in there so
Hmm.
that we can tell the system, yeah, if they clock in after 5 or before 8, we'll recognize it as a bump pay and
Okay.
they can make this X a pay, right? We'll keep all the monies and the wages in payroll, but
Right.
we'll just track the time and categorize it properly so that when we
Right.
send it to payroll, everything aligns accordingly.
Okay.
Okay. And there's
All
a
right.
couple different ways that we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll show you all that. But yeah, everything that you're looking for it's extremely simple. So Swipeclock is not off the shelf. It's not
Okay.
one size fits all. We've got over 50,000 clients, 1 million employees use this system daily, and we actually watch it on a monitor when we're at the
Wow.
office, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and so and each one of those clients they use the system differently.
Okay.
And the best part is your company is changing, it's growing. Heaven forbid it shrinks. Our system can ebb and flow with you. Okay.
Okay.
So 9 out of 10 of my clients that sign up and use it one way today, they are
Hmm.
calling me in 6 months, a year saying, hey, I need to add this, I need to change
Okay.
this, and we do it.
Okay.
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 So
That
it'll
makes sense.
future proof your needs. Absolutely.
Okay.
So what
Okay.
we'll take a look at first is I'll show you the employees side, how
Hmm.
they can interact with the system. And again, you can decide as the admin, so you can turn features on or off.
Okay.
We just need to decide what is the best method or methods to record their time.
Okay.
And then I'll show you how you'll interact with the system through your manager's portal, reviewing
Okay.
time cards, making edits, gathering the data, running a report. firing it over to payroll.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm all eyeballs.
all right. So can you see my screen okay?
I can see a picture of you with Swipeclock and welcome. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Well, we'll get a nicer view here. Oh,
I like your barber, by the way. I've got the same barber.
right. Save lots of money on shampoo. It's awesome.
I hear you.
Right. So, okay. So first and foremost, clocking in, clocking out, right?
Okay.
Pretty straightforward, and we make it simple for the employee. So we've got traditional hardware clocks. You hang them on the wall, and
Okay.
there's a few different models, right? You've got more secure models that'll take like biometrics, fingers, facial recognition, or you can get something a little bit more simplistic with proximity cards or PIN entry.
Okay.
Right? You'll purchase those outright. They range in price from about $600 up to like $2,500 because some of them will actually take your temperature, right? With good old COVID fun.
Yeah.
But the mid range, you're about $1,000, $1,200, limited lifetime warranty.
Okay.
Touch screen, very user friendly. They hook up to the internet and they transmit the punch data in real time. So these clocks don't store anything. Employees don't interact with them other than just to clock in, clock out.
Okay. Let me ask this question: when an employee comes in and clocks in, does the system allow you to have something like an in-out board so that a receptionist can refer to that to know immediately if anyone is in the office or out of the office?
So not on the clock itself, but in the management portal, yes.
Okay. And now can we tier access to the management portal so
Yes,
that somebody can be allowed in? Okay.
Yep. Good questions, man. Good questions. Sure can. So I'll show you that as well. And you can set those up yourself.
Okay. Right? Yeah, I figured.
So the nice thing with our system is we'll build it out, we'll get everything all ready, but you're the admin. So little things you can go in there and change, turn features on or off. Big things like, changing a work week, a pay period, adjusting your PTO accruals, you would contact our support.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
and the support
necessarily being on the fly.
Yeah. And our support is amazing, right? We're in Utah, so it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, but for emergencies, there's always a rep on call, and that's included with the implementation cost. So there's no additional fee, right, for support.
What part of Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Okay. I used to work for the 911 center here, and we worked with Spillman. And they're based out of Salt Lake City. They were up in, what is it, Logan, something like that. Yeah, they were up there, but I think people were kind of getting tired of driving through the mountains in the winter, so they were in Salt Lake with their main office. So very familiar with Utah and the tech center up there. So that's great.
Awesome.
Now you said hardware clocks. Are there other options beside hardware clocks?
Absolutely. So the next option would be a browser-based clock. So internet, right? Computers, tablets. So it's just a website that we bookmark. We can IP restrict it. So if you wanted everyone to use a main kiosk, the front office computer, the back office tablet, yes, right?
Okay.
And that's a little bit slower in terms of clocking in and out because they've got to plug in their username and password and then access the clock.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So it does slow things down a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So you're talking, maybe 5 to 8 seconds. But once I make my selection, it will automatically sign me out.
Okay.
Versus a traditional hardware clock, you're 2 to 3 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Makes sense. Super.
Yep. And then finally, you've got the mobile app.
Okay.
The mobile app is very user friendly. Now, all these clocks, they look and they function the same across the board. So it's the same user experience. Okay.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. I noticed there that the interface looks identical across the different platforms.
Yep. So it's all the same experience. It doesn't confuse employees, and you can mix the apps, right? Now the difference with the mobile app is you can turn on location tracking settings.
Okay.
I shouldn't say tracking. I should say monitoring, right? So we partner with Google. And so if you opt to have a location management package, it is an upgrade, but it's one charge and it covers every employee. You don't need it. If you turn it on, each time the employee clocks in and out, we pinpoint their location and it's visible to management on a map.
Okay.
Okay. Then you can
Gotcha.
take it one step further and do geofencing, right? So the tagging is just going to tag my location, a little pin drop on a map. The geofencing would say, here's our 2 office sites. I'm going to put an invisible boundary around those sites, and I'm going to assign employees to them. I can mix and match. I can create 100 boundaries if I want to. And
yeah, we're using something called simple in out right now.
Okay.
Which is tied to the cell phone. And when people get here, there's a geofence around the building. It lets us know they're in the building. If they leave the building, then it lets us know they've left the building. So,
okay.
Again, our receptionist uses that to determine, okay, I get a phone call for so-and-so. Are they even here? Or if they run out on a service or something like that. So,
So ours would
we're familiar with that kind of technology, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Perfect. So ours would look a little bit different. That may sound like it's a little bit more real time, which has pros and cons. This will only notify you if an employee travels outside the area and they clock in or out.
Okay.
So if I'm clocked in and I leave the building, the system doesn't know.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we haven't told it. That would be the only difference.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can mix and match. So I could clock in on my cell phone, get to the office, clock out on a clock, use a computer. So you can mix and match, and you are in control of that. So in the manager's portal, employees have a profile, and you just simply say, this employee has to use a phone, this employee has to use the hardware, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, with funeral directors, I can see the ability for them, if they're on call at night, to be able to hit the clock in on their phone, and then that starts their bump time. And then when they get done, they clock out either the hardware up here before they leave the building or back on their phone before they leave the building. So.
Yep. Now with the bump, there's a couple different ways that we can set that up. In the manager's portal, we can create a rule, and it would be an if-then policy, right?
Okay.
So that's what kind of separates Swipeclock from other timekeeping systems, is if-then scripting customization. If the employee does this, then this will happen in the system.
Okay, understand that.
If the employee clocks in before 5 a.m., then we will notate it as a bump pay rate.
Gotcha.
Okay, if-then scripts. And that applies to everything: holidays, overtime, even your PTO and your sick leave tracking, right?
Okay, so if they clock in on a holiday, then we're going to know that, hey, they worked on that holiday this many hours.
Yep, see? And you just said it. If they clock in on a holiday, then we are going to tell the system to do this.
Right. Okay.
If then, right? So that's the easiest way for me to describe the custom options that we have available. So that's one way. And that's the back end doing the system, the employee just clocking in and out. Another option is to set up what we call clock prompts. So a clock prompt, after the employee initially clocks in, they are prompted to give us more information.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now these are custom questions. You design the headers, so these are just examples. But we could have one that says bump rate, drop down menu, yes or no.
Okay.
Right? Delivery, yes or no. Visitation, yes or no. Right?
And even a family name, if they know they're going for a pickup and they know the last name, they can enter the family name. That way we can tie it together.
Exactly. So you can have preset selections, which makes it easier for the employee. And you can manage these lists, so you can add and remove, right? But you want to be careful that you're not changing something that is in an unfinalized pay period, right? So we want to make sure that pay period's closed before I remove that selection, right?
Because that would cause issues.
Exactly. And it's also easier if you wanted to run a report, because if we leave it open as a form fill, but you spell Jones with one E and I spell Joneses with two S's, but it's the same family, and I want to run that report, you'll still be able to see it, but it's going to show up as two different line items.
Okay. So I think just having an on-off for a bump, yes or no, might be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
that
right.
allows the employee to be a little bit more interactive.
Okay.
So you could do it on the back end and not have the employee worry about it, or you could have the employee tell you when they're clocking in case they ever worked that specific time frame and it wasn't like a bump shift or
Okay.
whatever.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that works the same at the clock. So you'll notice that we've got the same options here.
Okay.
All right, and same thing with the mobile.
Okay.
Okay, and then you'll also
Mhm.
notice that you've got the meal and the break tracking as well. So what that allows you to do is track lunches and breaks, when they start, when they stop, and how long of a break period they took.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can tie rules to it. So if it's mandatory that it take a 30-minute lunch, once I hit start meal, if I come back in
Okay.
20 minutes and we've told the system, nope, they need to take 30, the system won't allow them to clock back in. It'll say, nope,
Wow.
come back in 8 minutes, come back in 9 minutes, right? Whatever.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So, and it'll actually specify on time cards, okay, he clocked in at a regular category at 7, he clocked out at
Hmm.
9 for a break, he came
Hmm.
back at 9:15, that was 15 minutes, same thing. So you'll just be able to see
Okay.
it rather than just an in and out, in and out, in and out.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, if you
Okay.
don't need any of these features, we remove the
Mhm.
buttons. So they're not even
Oh,
visible.
good. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then the
Okay.
transfer is the same idea. So if I needed to transfer from a regular shift to a bump shift, well, I don't need to clock out and clock back in. I just hit transfer and then specify what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So all of those are included. You may use them today, you may not tomorrow, vice versa. We can turn them on, turn them off at any point on you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Super.
So very, very easy. So that's
Okay.
the clock, right? Now employees, they have
Okay.
a portal. So I went through the portal here. It's also available on a mobile app.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can turn the clocks off. So if they're just using a wall mounted clock and they
Hmm.
went to their portal, they wouldn't have the ability to clock in or out through their portal, through their
Okay.
phone or the computer.
Okay. So if
Okay.
we don't want certain people clocking in on their phones, we can restrict that.
Yep. Yep.
Now, is
Same
that
with
a
the,
person by person basis?
yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Same with the web clock, right? If I'm using a
Okay.
computer at work, but
Hmm.
let's say I'm at home and I log onto my portal, the clock won't work because we tie it to your facility network.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. But what else they can do in their portal is you got a little message board, send them messages,
Hmm.
whatever you want. They've got a time card view. It's their own time card. So
Okay.
they can keep track of hours. It's going to tally everything out for them, separate out overtime. If they're using those clock prompts, they'll see, okay, here's when I worked bump pay hours.
Okay.
Okay. They have the
Hmm.
ability to send notes. So if they've got a missing punch like here, they'll see it.
Okay.
And to make your life easier, I could say, oh, well, I want to send Adam an email so he can quickly fix this for me. So I'm just going to send him a
Okay.
note.
Okay.
Okay. And that will appear right on their time card for you to see. Now,
Okay.
alternatively, some clients allow their employees to edit their own time cards. Typically, it's reserved for
Okay.
management, but if you wanted to, you could say, all right, Harry, I'll allow you to go in there and fix it yourself.
Okay.
Okay. But
Gotcha.
no funny business. So the system is transparent, right? So that's what these
Right.
strikeouts are. So whether
Okay.
I fix it or management fix it, it's still going to show who, when, where, why.
Okay.
So an
That's
option,
good.
and you can turn that on. Okay. So we separate out your work weeks, tally out the hours each week. Down at the bottom, pay period.
Okay.
Okay. This will also show their PTO balance down here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, when they request time off, those days when they're approved by you will automatically populate on their time card with the correct amount of hours.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
So if they schedule vacation 6 months ahead of time and it's in the system and approved, when they're not in on that day, the clock knows automatically this is the day they were scheduled to work. This is the vacation time they're supposed to be off. So It's now vacation. Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yep. And then that's the last option in here is their time off. So they'll
Okay.
have a real-time way to check their totals. It's accurate,
Mm-hmm.
up to date, right? So if I make a request, but I request it 6 months in the future,
Mm-hmm.
this total will not change until I actually take the day off.
Okay.
Okay. So this doesn't account for pending or approved time off in the future. I literally have to take the January 6th off for 8 hours. Once I do, this will be reduced by 8 hours.
Okay.
So
So if for some reason they decided to cancel it, then would they cancel it on their end, or would I see a withdrawal over there? Does
exactly.
that
Yep. Withdraw it. I should
okay?
want to draw. Yep. It's gone.
Now once it's approved, can it be withdrawn?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So once it's approved, these are in the future or in the past. Yeah. So
Oh,
whether it's
okay.
pending or whether it's approved, I can withdraw it at any time. And then it
Okay.
removes it from my time card and it doesn't mess with my totals.
Super. Okay.
Okay. Now these are just
Yeah.
example buckets. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all custom. So
Right. Yeah, because
some,
we use sick and vacation.
okay.
We don't use PTO and unpaid or any of that stuff. We just use sick or vacation.
Okay. So you would just have two
Uh,
buckets.
right. We may need to add the COVID-19 because that has impacted our work schedule a lot this year.
Yep.
So until this is gone,
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And then each bucket can have its own policy of how it collects time, right? So you've got two
Okay.
options. You've got an accrual, meaning they earn it every pay period based off of rules that you tell us, right?
Right.
You're part-time. If you work 40 hours a pay period, I'll give you an hour. You're
Right.
full-time. You work 75 hours a pay period, I'll give you 2 hours.
Okay.
So every pay period, this number will adjust accordingly
Okay.
until you
Yeah,
tell
we
it to
don't
max out.
accrue. Beginning of the year, they get their bucket,
So you
and
just
they
give them the
have
lump sum. Okay.
right. Right.
Yep. So you
Now there
just,
are restrictions that half of it needs to be taken before the end of June, and half of it needs to be taken after June. After June, so half can be taken first of the year, half towards the end of the year. We do have restrictions like that. We also have restrictions about during November, December, about the number of people that can be off and stuff like that. Is that all calculated in the algorithm, or is that something where that's based on our approval process?
a little bit of both.
Okay, all right.
So
Well, that makes sense.
yeah. So it depends on what those restrictions are and if we can tell the system to do it.
Okay,
But a lot of it's your approval process. Yes.
right, and that makes sense.
Yeah. But you tell the
Okay,
system, hey, we're going to give them 40 hours of PTO, but as of June
hmm
6th, if it's above 20, we're going to reduce it down to
hmm
20,
okay,
right?
gotcha,
At the end of the
gotcha.
year, we zero it out, and January 1 or their anniversary date, we reset it to 40,
Okay,
right?
and do we have the ability for sick time to be able to accrue up to a certain amount
Yes.
before they don't carry over accrual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, because we limit the ability to carry over, say, 10 days of
Sure.
sick time.
Yep.
But if they've got 15 days at the end of the year, they're only going to be able to carry 10 of those forward.
Yeah.
So that sounds simple enough to be programmed in, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So rollover
Okay.
rates, refresh
Okay.
rates, not a problem. Yep,
Okay.
it's all custom.
Okay.
And then
Super.
they've got a calendar that they can reference, and you can have it so it's just their own days off, or you can open it up to the entire company. So they can
Okay.
say, oh, everyone's requesting, New Year's Eve off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try.
Yeah.
And then there's a notification system. So once I
Okay.
request time off, right, select a day, select which bucket I'm pulling from. Now the cool thing here is I can just do 8 hours in a day, but
Mm-hmm.
some clients, they'll be like, you know what, I need to request 2 hours in the middle of the day to go to a doctor's appointment.
Right.
So I can come in here and get granular if I need to.
Okay, good.
Okay. And then I just leave a comment, submit that request. You'll be sent an email, and then in your portal, you'll go in there and you'll have all the details to quickly make a decision, approve or deny.
Okay, super.
Okay, so extremely simple, whether they do it online, everything we just looked at, clock in, clock out, time card, time off, everything's done the same way on a mobile.
Super.
Okay.
Awesome. And you've got the ability so that their vacation time, say, after the first year, we get a week. After we finished our second year, then we get 2 weeks until we hit 10 years, and then we get 3 weeks. And that's pretty much where we top off. Can that all be handled within the system automatically, or is that something we need to do manually each year? Is say, okay, they need to go up a category or whatever.
Nope. We just tell the system what their 10-year policy is. First year, you get this much. Second year, you get this much. Third year, so on and so forth. Yep.
Okay, super.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So we will write those policies. But again, if that's something that changed, you can change their totals.
Okay.
But you can't change the policy. You would have to call us to rewrite that policy.
Can change totals, but you have to rewrite policy.
Yep, because it's an if-then script, right?
Right.
If the employee is here from 1 to 2 years, then they get 40 hours, and here's how they accrue it.
Right. And so that's part of the issue why we're looking now at this, is because our policy is changing as of January 1. So, the old way of doing things, the old manual way of doing things is technically going away if we start this. So we'll have a whole new system ready to go. I know it wouldn't be done by January 1st, obviously, because that's Friday. But, that's another question I've got for you is implementation time, but I'm sure you're getting to that eventually.
Yeah. You're right now, I think we're the second, third week of January. So
okay,
we can retroactively add information back in. You would just manually go in and put it in. But yeah, this time of year, we're crazy busy, slammed. So
I'm sure.
got a queue.
I'm sure.
We just figure out the monies. Once you're on board, you sign just an agreement saying, yep, I agree with the subscription cost, the implementation cost. I get an employee list, kick them over, they schedule with you, build your account. Once it's built, train you, off you go.
Cool.
So
okay.
Very simple, very easy. Okay. So we've got about 20 minutes left. So let me show you the manager's portal.
Okay.
It's just as user-friendly as the employee side. It's just, what do you want to look at? So,
okay.
Access from anywhere. It's just a website. So you'll have managerial login credentials. Again, you can set up different tiered levels. That's found in the maintenance menu. So on your left is your navigation menu, right? You've got main menu, time cards, maintenance, reports, settings. So this seems really busy, but it's very, very simple.
Right.
So in the maintenance menu, login maintenance, right? You've got, I'm in the wrong account here. I'm like, wait, that's not right.
That's not it.
Yep. So here you can just set up different access, right? Client is another name for an admin or supervisor.
Okay.
And then you just say, here's what you have access to. Here's the employees you can see. Here's what you can do, right? And you can have as many admins as you want in the system. There's no charge unless we're recording time or tracking PTO.
Okay, super.
Okay. So we'll just start at the top here. So you've got your dashboard, quick links through the center, mistakes, who's clocked in. So that would be the dashboard for your front office, right? Tell me who's here and tell me who's gone. I can just refresh this, real-time information.
Okay, good.
Okay. Time off requests come through here.
Okay.
So you also get a little reference calendar. It'll show you what employees have what days off.
Okay.
Then you just expand these boxes, and again, gives you all the information you need to make a quick decision. When the request was made, by who, what bucket, how much time, what do they have available, why they want it. But I can change this, which is very nice. So, hey, Harry, you don't have enough personal, but you do have some sick. Do you want me to change it?
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Or, hey, you requested too much time off. I need you to work, visitation half the day.
Right.
So I'm going to kick it back to the employee to either agree or deny.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you make any changes, it automatically kicks it back to them.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Correct. And then, of course, you got the email notification.
Okay.
Okay. So this will just keep track of what's approved. The conditionally approved is what I changed, and I'm waiting for the employee to yes or no it.
Okay.
Okay.
So well, let me ask you a question about the calendar. Is it possible to have a cumulative off vacation calendar that is shared so that all the employees can see it?
So that is on the employee side. That would be this calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, super.
So most of your time is in time cards.
Okay.
Okay. So we can look at different views here. I could look at today's entries and see who clocked in, what time. Right. I could go back and look at yesterday. I can see here that someone missed a clock out. Okay. But we can set up an automated email to go out to management at any point of the day you want, and it shows the previous day's activities.
Oh, cool. So we know that, okay, so-and-so missed a punch yesterday.
Yep.
We need to get that fixed. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
I like the way you got that big red line because that definitely lets you know something's missing.
Yep. That's one way. Another way is if I were to click on like current or previous pay period, we color coordinate the list of employees. So I can select which pay period I want to look at for which employee, and if they're red, they've got a mistake.
Oh, okay.
Right? Oh, you forgot to clock out. Now, if I go back to the employee side and I go back to the time card, I can find that missing punch, and I can add a note and say, please fix my mistake, left at 4 p.m.
Okay, I see.
Right? Wow, I can't type today. There you go.
Please fox my mistake.
Yeah, Foxy. So then it'll populate right there. And then if I go back to this time card here, that note will populate right there for you to see.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then I've got the add, edit. I can just come in here and quickly edit, put in the time. Oh, it was an in punch, not an out. So we'll just pretend I said in, right? 7 a.m. Fix it. Okay. And then that'll be fixed. Nope.
Okay.
What did I do? Oh, he's got too many entries here. That's why I need to go fix that. He's clocked in too many times.
Oh, he's already clocked in up there. Okay.
Yep. I've missed, I've changed my demo account one too many times. You can see all these entries I've made. But yeah, I can change every line item here if I need to. And then because the system is transparent, you can leave notes. So if you've got multiple supervisors, they can actually see why someone made a change.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So very simple. So that's the goal, right? Just come in here, review the time, make sure that it's accurate. Everything's totaled out for you. It'll show you future balances if they've got pending time off 6 months in advance. Okay. So very simple, very easy, right? And then finally, you're just going to go, okay, now it's payroll time. I need to get this information over to my bookkeeper. Okay. So if we go to the reports menu, there's 19 reports. They're all very simple. It's just what do you want to see and how do you want to see it? Okay. So you can run accruals report, show me pay time off balances. You can run time off request reports. You know, why is Bill always taking Mondays and Fridays off? Well, I'm going to see how often he did the last 6 months, right? Or if I just want to summarize a pay period, I can go to like my summary report near the bottom and just say, here are my fixed pay periods. I'm just going to go select the pay period that I need. I don't need to change anything else. I just hit submit, and it will show me all the employees and all their hours for that time frame with everything broken down.
So if we had it calculated, it would be regular, bump, holiday, vacation, sick, whatever. Yep. And it would be a quick summary there. all the accountant has to do is enter that into the payroll system, and they're ready to go.
Yep. So from here, I can print this. I can throw it into an Excel spreadsheet just by clicking CSV. And CSV is the most common file format.
Right.
And then it will throw it into a format in an Excel spreadsheet with all the columns, right?
Okay.
So from here, I just save it and email it over to them. And then depending on their platform, they should be able to import it.
They use a platform called Checkbook Solutions.
Checkbooks?
By Thomson Reuters.
By Thomson Reuters.
Yeah, it's an old system that is no longer supported, and they have no plans to change to anything else.
Interesting.
So, yeah, needless to say, I've got that hit by the bus concern that one day we're going to come in and our checkbook's not going to work. But that doesn't seem to freak anybody out but me. So, hey.
Well, I might
what I would do is
there.
Oh, well, okay.
So if you wanted to, we do partner with payroll providers, and Thomson Reuters is a platform that we integrate with.
Oh,
now,
okay.
I haven't heard of the checkbooks one. I think that is outdated, but
yeah, it is.
Right there, Thomson Reuters.
Okay.
So there is an integration that would sync our two systems together. So rather than you
so
run
if we ever did upgrade to the new Thomson Reuters software, we would be able to even streamline things that much more.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, you could share with me your contact over there. I could reach out to them and say, hey, I spoke with Adam. He wants to get signed up with Swipeclock. I heard that you guys use Thomson Reuters. If you do ever want to become a partner, we could become a partner. Other clients could use timekeeping, or maybe just Adam, but I would show them the benefit of becoming a partner. If that happened, then they would handle all your billing. They would set pricing, maybe give you a bundled package. It kind of makes things easier, right? But there's just a data sync. So information from this report, you don't need to do anything. It just flows over into payroll automatically.
Right. Which would be glorious, but right now we're working with our antiquated system. So what I would pretty much do is something like what you've got right there. I would print that as a PDF and email it over to you.
Which you sure can. Yeah, you can print, save these in different formats. Very, very simple, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
super.
That's
because they don't need to see the punches. They just need to see the summaries. That's all they need.
Exactly. But I mean, you could, right? So I could go back up to like the current pay period. I could go to Phil here, and I can get a PDF view of his time card.
Okay.
So we have some clients that still like to print these out, put custom acknowledgments down at the bottom, have their employees sign off on it.
Okay.
So there's all sorts of customizations that this system can do. There's over 1,500 different things we can do. So we've scratched the surface. So that's what I mean by growing into it, changing it. And Swipeclock does more than just timekeeping. There's scheduling, there's HR, there's recruiting and onboarding. So down the road, or if you need those right now, it's something that we can accommodate for you, no problem.
Okay.
It's just timekeeping is kind of where we got our start, but the big craze right now in the industry is, well, we want a labor management solution in a single platform, right? I want to be able to hire new help, onboard them, collect their time, set their schedule, and then track all their HR documentation through their life cycle of them working for me. Well, Swipeclock has that.
So you've pretty much got a modular system, and you buy the pieces you need.
Correct. And then once you buy 2 or more, you get bundled package pricing, and it's called Workforce Hub. And I'll send you this link on our website. It's just workforce management. And this just kind of gives you a little flow through of that bundled package.
Okay.
Right? So timekeeping, scheduling, payroll integration. So yeah, it's just follow the Candyland looking icon.
Yeah, definitely.
And again,
Okay.
it's not expensive. So when you purchase direct from Swipeclock for the timekeeping system, you're $4 per employee per month. That's everything that we've looked at.
Okay.
Okay. No base fees. The only other fee would be for the mobile app if you wanted the geotagging and fencing. That's $30 per month, but it blanket covers every employee. So
I don't think we would use the geotagging, but it's helpful to know what the cost is.
Yeah, and you can flip that on at any time.
Okay.
Okay. Your setup fee would be $200 because you do the lumps. Well, at most it would be $388, and that's just depending on how you wanted to do some of the custom scripting for the bump pay, and some of the rules for the PTO tracking based on tenure.
Right.
So $388 at the most, $168 at the least for the setup fee, right? And that's one time. That's implementation, training, and ongoing support. Okay. Are you thinking that you would use? Oh, let me go back to the clocks here. Are you thinking hardware?
I am thinking hardware. There are two primary in-out clocking areas.
Okay.
And I could see using probably two hardware clocks that were very simplistic, pretty much with, like a PIN code or something, not necessarily a card, no biometrics, nothing like that. Just pretty much a very simplistic, this is my employee and this is me punching in or this is me punching out.
Sure. I think they've all got, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think they've all got the biometrics. It's just what they've done. I think our entry-level clock, I think it's $650. So you can do biometrics if you want, or you can do the PIN entry, or you could do proximity badges.
Proximity or PIN. Okay. And proximity badge would just be like one of those little magnetic cards. They just basically hold it up there and it goes beep, and they're in.
So you've got this little card icon. So they'll beep it, and then the menu pops up. They make their selection. Off they go.
Okay, cool.
Or if they use
now the cards, how much are they to get?
The basic white ones are $2.50 a piece.
Okay.
But you can spend $10 a card if you want. If you want to put your logo on there, an ID picture of the individual, but that customizes them down to a level where you can't repurpose the card. The basic card you can repurpose. There's a number on the back. You give it to Bill. Bill leaves. You delete that number. You give it to Jen. So.
Okay, super.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be the one we would use. Would be a generic card like that. Now, if you are using a system that they use cards, if somebody forgets their card, which inevitably they will, you've got the ability to bypass a card and do PIN entry?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to go back to real quick, the mobile app. Now, is it $30 per month just to have access to the app, or is that only for the geotagging feature?
That's only for the geotagging.
Okay, so the $4 per employee per month. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, so that includes the web clock, the mobile app, and all the features except the geotagging.
Right. Wow.
So they can clock in and out on their phone. We just don't know their physical location when it happens.
Okay. Yeah, and I to be honest with you, I seriously thought that we were going to be looking at thousands of dollars to get up and running. And I mean, because with us using two actual clock-in locations, can we basically restrict so that employees of one business use one clock, and employees of another business use another clock, and they're not able to clock in on each other's clocks?
That's a good question. Normally I get the opposite question. Can they clock in at either? Let me find out if we can.
I figured they could clock in at either, but I didn't know. You said there were some, there was some restrictability to it, whether they could use the app or anything like that. So I was wondering, okay, if they're a time clock person where we make them punch a time clock, can we restrict the time clock they're able to use?
Yeah, that's a good. I've never been asked that before. Let me find out. That's a good question. I'm
What we
sure
would
there is a
probably
way.
do, yeah, what we would probably do though is do one company or do one account with y'all and just use different metrics for one batch of employees, not metrics necessarily, but one different codes, I guess you could say,
Yeah,
whatever,
I'm
to be
pretty
able to
sure.
separate.
I'm pretty sure we can restrict them because in the employee setup, like their profile, where you
Hmm.
decide, right? You're
Hmm.
going to use this clock. Here's your login credentials. Here's your password. Under the employee data fields, this
Hmm.
is where we can say, okay, here's your department. Here's the employee type. Here's a location that you're at. So when you run that summary report, you can separate, those 7
Right.
employees out.
Yeah, because basically what we would do is we'd say, okay, your location is either funeral home or cemetery.
Yep. Yep.
And we run cemetery report, we run a funeral home report, and we've got it separated out.
Yeah. And I'm
I
pretty
like that.
sure we can restrict clocks.
Okay.
So
But
I
I
will
do like the
find out.
ability for the funeral directors to have the clock ability on their phone because
Yeah.
that would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me
All
do
right.
this. I'm sorry I got to run to another call, Adam,
Oh, no, no
but
problem.
I will send you over a cost proposal. I use
Okay.
DocuSign. Okay.
Okay.
It'll have all the costs that we just put on there. I'll put the 2 clocks on there. Do you want me to put
Okay.
proximity badges on there?
Yeah, go ahead and put proximity badges on there because that'll be a change for us. But yeah.
Okay. And then if I need to revise it, we can.
Okay.
And then I'll just kind of send you a recap email. And then, like I
Okay.
said, our timeline, we could have you set up by the second, third week of January, all said and done.
Okay.
So, yeah, if that works for you, let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, you can sign that DocuSign, get it back,
Mhm.
and then I'll just give you a call and say, okay, here's what I need, here's the timeline, and we'll get going for you.
Super. Nate, thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much.
You're very, very welcome. And if I don't talk to you before the new year, be safe and have fun, and we'll check back next year.
One last question. Is it possible for you to send me the recording?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, please do. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll get that over to you by the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Nate.
Okay, have a good one. See ya.
Bye-bye.